YouTube, how y'all doing? Explaining nose ring theory. I met girls with nose like, and by the way, they're not talking about these nose rings. I used to have a nose ring, by the way. I don't anymore. I took it out, but the middle one, like right here, I don't know. There's something about those girls we don't know about. You know what I'm saying? Those that, you know what I mean? It's just not attractive. Let's just be real.
I've got a fun one for you today that I think you're going to find interesting. Nose ring theory. And I just know that when I say that...
Hold on. Oh, I can't do it? Okay,
half of you are going to be confused, and the other half of you somehow know exactly what I'm talking about, even if you've never heard of it before.
Oh, yeah.
I will explain everything I've learned about this theory, show you some examples, and then give you my 2 cents on this whole thing. So, to take you on the journey that I went down to get here, I'll show you the video that I first saw that introduced me to this whole thing.
So I'm 24 years old, and I've been trying my hand at dating men.
They're all goth. I just noticed that.
Specifically.
Like this nose ring shit right here, it's just not a good look, you guys. It's so ugly. It's so chopped. Please don't get this. To all the women out there, it's not attractive, bro. It's not attractive.
For probably about 5-6 years now, in a serious way. I'm single at the moment. My boyfriend and I just broke up recently, and I have probably dated about like 4 to 5 men, seriously. Keep running into the same issues every single time I date a man, and I've been trying to like really get to the root of what it is. And now I know what you're thinking. You probably have a type. I do not have a type. These men don't know each other. They're not friends. They're not from the same area. They don't look alike. I really do not have a type. The only thing that these men have in common is that they are men. I really have been reflecting a lot and trying to figure out what like the root of all these issues is.
You know, I like a person that can take accountability, because I would have never expected a girl like her to take accountability like this. I don't know, just from the way she looks. Is she a vampire? Like, she probably watches the Castlevania fucking anime.
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, but I'm not the reason that any of these relationships ended. One of the main issues that I've come to recognize is that I don't think men are really socialized to know what it means to truly love someone, like love their partner.
Hold on, let her cook.
And care for their partner. Obviously, I'm not saying this is all men, but I think it's just not normalized for them to like, I don't know, just like, I guess I don't know how to phrase it. What I'm saying, for example, is that every single one of these men individually has looked me in my eyes and told me that I am the love of their life, I'm the most important person in their life, that they would take a bullet for me, and every single one of them has treated me horribly, okay? I don't know about you, but when I tell somebody they're the love of my life and that they're the person I care about the most, I show it. I'm treating them accordingly. Part of it that...
Maybe you do have a fucking type. Maybe that's just what it fucking is, bro. Maybe you do have a type.
What really trips me up is that they believe it. They actually believe in their heart that I'm the love of their life and I'm the person they care about the most. I start calling it out. I would be like, you do not love me and you do not care.
See, you know what? It's not the guy's fault. It's your fault. What she just did right there. She doesn't believe that she can be loved. People who have those nose rings don't love themselves. That's what it is, bro. I've heard of this theory before. I've actually known a girl who had this, and I would say that she's probably one of the most depressing people I've ever fucking met. I'm just saying, bro. She's wearing all black, which, to be fair, I wear a lot of black, but like,
about me.
Yeah.
Like, point blank period. Otherwise, you wouldn't be treating me badly. And they will argue and they get genuinely like offended. They get offended. I honestly pity them because I don't think they're socialized to know what that means. And like,
you don't feel like you can be loved. What do you mean? It's not the guy's fault.
I don't know how to get it across.
Like, look at the caption. I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. No, you're just a very depressing person, and people no, all those guys end up leaving because you just act in a way where you can't be loved, bro. Like, that's just what it is, bro.
In
like,
a meaningful way to them. Like, they just don't listen. And I'll be like, okay, you wouldn't have done this bad thing to me if you actually loved me in the way that you say you do. Like, that is not what love is. That's not
You don't know what love is. You're fucking goth.
what love is. When you love someone, you don't do things to intentionally or even unintentionally hurt them. Why is that considered love to you?
What the fuck is she talking about? What is she talking about? Yo, she tweaking, y'all. Nah, she tweaking. There's no way. She needs... All she has to do is to relieve... She can't breathe. She's not getting all the oxygen in her brain. You know, the nose ring takes up 50% of the oxygen that she's breathing in. So she can't think straight. And that's why all these women are just depressed and they're sad, bro. She acts in a way where she believes that she's going to be lonely for the rest of her life, you guys. That's why she's dealing with these breakups. Is because she believes that she's going to be lonely for the rest of her life. She has a poor mindset. She's a miserable person.
I'm just like, I don't know where it's coming from.
You don't love yourself.
I honestly pity them because that has to be awful, but...
That's why you have that ugly ass nose ring on. Let me stop.
So in this video, this girl is describing her troubles with finding a good man. She insists that she doesn't have a type, that none of these men really have anything in common, but for some reason, in the end, they always end up treating her horribly.
Oh, okay.
And this led many in the comments to speculate that it must be something about her that is the common denominator.
Yep.
And unfortunately, since it's such a short TikTok video and we don't really get much insight onto greater parts of her personality, and she's not very open about what her most major flaws are.
No, her most major flaws is the fact that she believes that she is alone and that she can't be loved. That is her biggest flaw.
To figure out why she's attracting such mean men, or why her...
And that's why they treat those men treat her like shit. Because she doesn't love herself. That's fucking why.
Relationships are always driven to turmoil. People began to theorize, because it's one of the most noticeable things about her, that it could potentially have to do with the amount of piercings she has. In fact, these two comments right next to each other say, the piercing theory is so true, with over 700 likes. And again, don't know, don't care, nose ring theory, with over 12.
You know, it's funny, I used to have a nose ring, you know what I mean? I didn't have like a bunch of piercings, but I don't know. I kind of like the fact that I don't have a nose ring anymore. I'm not gonna lie.
1,200 likes. So you might be wondering, like I did, what about having a bunch of metal in your face would cause someone to treat you poorly? I mean, sure, the style isn't everyone's type, but these men were clearly attracted enough to her to date her, so then what is it that's causing the relationships to not go well? So I decided to look into what these men were referencing when they talked about the piercing theory, or the nose ring theory. And this was the top video I found.
Have y'all ever heard of the
You know, it's funny. It's always the girls with the middle nose ring, too. It's not like this. A nose ring. I had a nose ring right here. I didn't have this shit. But it's always the septum. That's what it's called. Septum. I don't know, bro. She looked like she could be taken advantage of. Like, that nose piercing looks crazy.
septum piercing theory?
Relax.
If you have a septum piercing, you may not want to look it up. But I'm always the last person to hear about shit. So, this is common knowledge. It's dead ass. It's actually dead ass. Because it says that every person that has a septum piercing makes their trauma their entire personality.
Exactly, bro. They don't love themselves. That's their personality. They're the fucking problem. At least hey, look. At least she was being honest. At least she's aware now. She can take that off. She can get 100% oxygen to her brain, and her life will be fine again.
And she agrees? It's dead ass.
Like I said, dead ass.
Damn, straight from the horse's mouth. Or maybe I should say straight from the bull's mouth. You know, because you get it. And if even the person with the nose ring is saying it's true, I mean, there's gotta be something there. And this is just even more hilarious when we take that theory and then reference back to the first video where the girl was...
Yeah, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. That's her whole personality. She believes that. That's who she thinks that's how she thinks, bro.
Making her relationship trauma her entire personality. Okay, that might have been a little reductive. After all, it was just one video. Surely her entire profile isn't like that.
Yo, you guys never told me how cool it is to have a dad. Like, this is a secret that's been kept from me, okay? I grew up with 3 moms. My mommy issues are off the chart.
Your mom issues? You mean your dad issues? Oh, you got daddy issues too? Oh, Lord.
Okay, sure. I mean, so maybe she doesn't have a dad and has a ton of self-proclaimed mommy issues, but that doesn't mean trauma's her entire personality.
I have psoriasis. Not like a little psoriasis, like all over my entire body. When I tell you, my whole body looks like this.
Okay, so she has a bit of medical trauma too, but I mean, there's more to her.
Nothing normal can ever happen to me. I think I attract chaos.
Okay, so
You attract chaos because you are chaos. You are chaos, bitch.
attracting chaos, it might be a little red flag, but I mean, there's gotta be something normal here.
Not to be a man-hater or anything.
Man-hater.
Actually, no, fully to be a man-hater. Fully to be a man-hater.
Oh, okay, I guess she also just doesn't like men. I mean, you could have brought that up when you were theorizing on why your relationships with men might be going poorly. I'm starting to connect the dots. Now, when I first started...
I feel like that's just her whole content, though. Like, I feel like at this point, she's probably aware of it.
Looking into nose ring theory, I didn't think that I would take it seriously at all. I thought it would just be a good laugh. But the more I looked into it, the more I think that it might actually hold some weight, because I did find quite a number of studies that have strong correlations between individuals with a lot of piercings and tattoos and how they are perceived and who they attract. This study seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos score significantly higher than those without for sensation-seeking and risk-taking behaviors. This other study that I found seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos, specifically women, scored significantly higher for extroversion and assertiveness, meaning they are more aggressive socially. This study that I found in Psychology Today examines how people with tattoos and piercings are perceived, and the most popular finding was that they are perceived to be more sexually promiscuous, and that they tend to
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody knows that.
attract people who are looking for more casual relationships than serious ones. And many other studies seem to point to people with piercings and tattoos having higher correlations with impulsivity and more experience with trauma and adversity. This study from BMC Psychology seemed to find a strong correlation between body modifications and people who experienced childhood abuse and neglect.
Okay.
And this one really stood out to me. This one found a notable prevalence of individuals with a high number of body modifications and borderline personality disorder. Now, this is not to say that individuals with piercings and tattoos are all degenerate problem children undeserving of love. I myself have a
Just like the dirty little thug down the street.
belly button piercing and an entire side piece, and I find myself to be pretty well adjusted and have had a lot of success in my relationships. But it does beg the question, could there be any legitimacy to the nose ring theory, or is it mostly just something that jerks shout at people they disagree with online when they happen to have a nose ring? My ultimate conclusion? Probably both. Obviously, even with all of these studies and research papers, you're never going to be able to make a correct, sweeping...
Because they're all going out. They're all going off of a few people. So it's not. You can't really just go off some articles because they could have just pulled like 50 random people, and it just happened to be that most of those random people had tattoo piercings, and like it just you know what I mean? It could just be a coincidence.
Blanket generalization about every one kind of person who looks a certain way. In the case of the first video we watched, where the girl is describing her issues with relationships with men, we know that people did at least initially find her very attractive, as she even cites at the end of the video that I cut off that both men and women have described completely falling in love with her. And when I first listened to her story, I wasn't even making any judgments about her physical appearance. I was truly waiting for the other shoe to drop of when she was going to describe some consistent patterns of behavior that might lead...
She just has trauma issues. She has daddy issues. Yo, little girl, can you chill out? Can you not knock on my keyboard? Thank you. You. Yeah. She's a brat.
To all of this correlation.
A little brat.
In her case, I definitely think that being a vocal man-hater was probably the linchpin in the disruption in her relationships with men, but certainly not all women with piercings and tattoos feel that way. In fact, here are some examples of super pierced and tattooed girls in very happy relationships with men.
She wishes she could have that shit. She wishes she can have that shit. That last girl, because she pretty much looks just like her. She looks just like her, bro. Except she has face paint, bro. Am I looking at the same girl? Oh, jeez. Best cat dad ever. Look, I have a cat. But wearing a cat shirt is insane. That is some diabolical work. I could never wear no shirt like this, bro. Mufasa, like, speaking of my cat, she's chewing on my wires right now. You need to chill out. You're getting on my nerves, little girl. Come on. Nope. Come on. Hey, come on. Stop it. You just can't be up here right now. You're just knocking everything over. Leave my wires alone, little girl.
What is this? What is this, please?
Also, it's so funny how they always go for the nerdy gamer guys. But this is what makes the nose ring theory so complex, because if the first video were to be enough to prove that it's accurate, then all of these other videos should be enough to disprove it, right? At the end of the day, the nose ring theory is just that. A theory, an idea worth discussing. Is it true that people with a lot of tattoos and piercings tend to be a bit more rebellious, chaotic, and...
That's 100% a fact, bro. I got tattoos. I got 2 tattoos. I have ear piercings. I used to have a nose ring, but I took it off. But, yeah.
Traumatized?
I mean, guess.
Yeah, probably. But does it make them inherently undateable? No.
No.
Some of them are. Some of them are absolutely undateable, but not all of them. As with most things, it's a case-by-case scenario, and it's always more important to pay attention to how a person behaves or what they believe in than it is to try and find secret clues in how they look or dress. Anyway, that has been my analysis on nose ring theory. If you liked my coverage, please drop a like on the...
Yeah, I think it's just a theory, you know, at the end of the day, but I have met someone with the septum piercing. She does kind of resemble her, you know what I mean? I think it just, I don't know, it's just a weird thing. But I mean, I'm not attracted to that shit. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I think that shit is chopped, bro. I'm good on that, bro. I feel like that first girl just needs to take out that nose piercing, that septum, and just get a little breather. Ooh, that oxygen, I can breathe, I can think clearly again, you know. But I hope y'all have a good breakfast, a good dinner, a good night. I love y'all, man. Peace.